Recorded October 25th, 2023. Good afternoon, Brody. Good afternoon, Rod. Good afternoon. Where's Andrea? Well, good afternoon, guys.
Where is Andrea?
Andrea is gallivanting around pretending to do work and visit customers.
Well, to her credit, Andrea is the one that suggested at the beginning of the month that we should have the topic that we have tonight. So even though she's not here, we still have to give her her due.
And we also have to say happy birthday, Andrea.
Oh, yeah. It was Monday, right?
Yeah.
Was her real birthday? Yeah.
Her real birthday. And the crazy part about it, I thought her birthday was today, and she thought my birthday was tomorrow, which is not. It's Saturday. So we've been getting each other's birthdays wrong for years. But if I can get within a few days of it, I'm sort of thinking about you a little bit. If I had said happy birthday in like December, that would have been bad. Maybe do that. So Brody, I'm sorry, we'll go with Rod this time. What's going on?
No, what? No. Brody's the one, I guess, that has some bad Wi-Fi. So let's let him go first, and we'll laugh for a little while.
Brody, or
is it working?
Yeah, thanks. Do I sound okay?
Yeah. You sound great. Yeah.
It's the look that's killing me.
Can you hear us, Brody?
Yeah, video looks great. I might just turn that off. Well, doing all right. So
I was just giving you mess, man. That's all. Oh, yeah, the clock changed. What do you?
I think he'll be back anyway.
Big delay here. Okay, so hopefully you can all hear me.
Yeah, we can hear you fine.
Well, I took a colleague to.
Well, Brody's gone. I guess Canada turned off his internet.
Yeah. They still on you got to buy more minutes. So, Rob, what's been going on with you, man?
So, a few things that I wanted to kind of get off my chest before we jump into our topic and introduce our guest tonight. First thing, a lot of people remember that I've been working on this must-learn AI security thing for the past 6 months or so, working with our internal messaging folks to release our internal messaging, make it public. So this must-learn AI security series actually capped it today, just finished it. So like over 300 pages of information that you need to know if you're going to deploy AI securely in your organization. So good that that's done and out of the way. However, headed to Miami on Sunday to go start talking about must-learn AI security. So kind of taking it on the road to Miami next week to a conference. Also, Ignite is coming out. I think I've mentioned that almost every episode for like the past couple months, but Ignite is coming up. It's obviously sold out, but I'm still looking forward to it. The pre-day is going to be great. Edward, you will be there, right?
I will be there. Book, baby. Yeah. I'm ready.
Yeah. So I've never seen Edward in person. He's never seen me, I don't think, unless he's stalking me that I don't know about it. But
it's possible.
It's possible. It's possible that I've actually ran by you, didn't realize it was me.
It's very possible that you ran by me too. I'm not in your league for that. I'm trying to get my win up.
But before we pass it back to Brody, I also want to thank our audience for the game of whack-a-mole that we play every week. Because sometimes we start at 4, sometimes we start at 5. Mm-hmm. Sometimes we haven't started yet. I'll get someone reach out on LinkedIn and say, hey, do we have a show tonight? I'm like, yeah, we do. But, we do some things. We don't ever start on time, but we have some awesome guests that come on. And to help with that, sometimes we have to adjust the start time and stuff. But I appreciate our loyal listeners and our audience for, again, taking the time to be here, particularly live. It's an effort, right? It's an effort to do that. It's like the old days of television where you had to actually be there at 8 o'clock to watch your favorite sitcom. Otherwise, you'd miss it. You have to wait for it to go into reruns till the season was over or whatever. So fortunately, the internet has improved quite a bit. Hopefully, Brody paid his Canadian internet bill. Brody, are you here?
Hey, can you hear me?
Definitely hear you.
Okay, video is terrible. Well, I'll make this brief. We're just working with some colleagues in town this week. Took one to his first hockey game last night. Lost my voice a little bit, and life is doing pretty good. Security all up. I'm going to keep it brief because I'm probably just going to have to drop the pod. Honestly, the Wi-Fi is dropping really bad here. But we've got some amazing guests on today. I wish I could be here for the entire episode. And I know Tina and Nathalia are going to be awesome talking about Cybersecurity Awareness Month, which is a very important month, not only for Microsoft, but the cybersecurity community broadly. So thanks, Rod, for getting everything lined up here. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. It's going to be great. And I actually was kind of hoping Brody would stay. It was like the old Kung Fu theater.
He'd be fine. He's popping in and out. You'll notice that Brody and I dress for success, and Rod just sort of moseys in off the street.
Yeah, well, I stay in my running gear all day long, just in case. Just in case.
So I do have something to say. Well, I didn't do anything this week since you asked.
I was going to ask, I promise.
Some time off because I had a week-long series event with my nonprofit. That was outstanding. Ran my fastest 10-mile time I've run in 10 years of a sort.
Yeah, that was blazing fast.
Yeah. I could not break an hour. It wasn't happening. The hills, the transmission started slipping around mile 8. Carburetor was sputtering. Lots of friends in town. I had over 500-600 people that came in town to partake in my event, so it was good. I'll share pictures when I get the official photographer back and talk about some stuff. For work, which I'm at work today, it's a little prep. We have an important client coming in next week, so we're just trying to get the talk tracks. It's an all-up security story, and which includes first-party security services, which is Defender experts for hunting, and Defender experts for XDR. And that's a service provided first party by Microsoft to augment your SOC with actual human, organic, biological entities that watch and hunt in your environment. Not so much of AI, other than unless somebody's name AI is in the response. So getting on a plane tomorrow morning, first thing hopping. Have to go to Dallas. Work and pleasure, celebrate my birthday a little bit, see how that goes. And that's it.
What are you doing for your birthday, by the way? I'm always looking for ideas for myself because at a certain age, you just like give up on birthdays, right?
I did. This is a spouse thing.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, get me out of the house. I really could just stay home and put my feet up. We're going down to Dallas to see some old friends, party a little bit, use some expiring, certificates at Delta for free flights before we lose them, primarily. And the weather's going to be awesome. I mean, it's going to be in the mid 70s and maybe a day in the 80s. Well, and when I come back to Atlanta, they're going to have a couple of days in the low 30s, even though it's beautiful outside right now, right?
I take your word for it.
Yeah, I'm in the office, right? Very, very rarely, but that's it. Did have something that I saw on LinkedIn that a person is creating a KQL course. I have the hyperlink, but I can't make it pretty, and I don't want to put this huge one in there.
I'll put it in the show notes if you want.
Yeah. You want me to post it in here or not?
Yeah, go ahead. I'll grab it.
It's a gazillion lines. Give me 1 second here. Where did I put it?
Yeah, that's the way LinkedIn does that. Usually, if you look at the LinkedIn link, there's only a short piece of it that's the actual link. They, depending on where you're grabbing it from, if you're grabbing it from desktop, there's like this little desktop indicator. If you grab it from mobile, that's how LinkedIn tells where the stuff's coming from.
Oh, okay. Well, whatever I did, I modified the link overly much. There it is. Never mind.
All right. Yeah. Pop it in the.
And I looked at it, and it's coming soon. It looks like they're trying to give you a run for your money with the must learn KQL stuff, man. Eric Mannon from Blue Voyant reposted it. I don't follow the gentleman that created it, but it may be worth a look at. He's specifically talking about creating a course, KQL course. He said it's failed to post it.
Speaking of Eric Mannon, he's helping with our pre-day workshop at Ignite, so you'll see him there as well. Yeah.
Oh, and big shout outs to you, man. So I'll be helping. Beth, prior guest on the show will be there.
He was on last week. Yeah.
Corinne will be there. We're talking about people, obviously, some listeners don't know about. And Sashada is coming.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, you got everybody working the floor for you. What are you going to do? Just supervise?
Right. So people don't realize when they come on the show as guests, that's just me literally putting them down for some work in the future. Our guests don't know that yet for tonight, but I put them on a list.
They become indentured. Right?
That's right.
Oh, I'm looking forward, man. I've never met you in person. And
you'll be highly disappointed.
Yeah, I'm shorter than most people think. Like, man, you were short, but you were shorter than I thought. Nah, I'm good. It'd be good to sit down and break bread with you, man. And we've been invited to a nice dinner by one of our former, guests on the show.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna run out really quick and get us some Microsoft Security Insight swag, maybe T-shirts or something, and maybe put some of my favorite, euphemisms on the back of it. Right, hands-on-ness.
Red Cup Security.
Red Cup Security. Hey, we got Chris Baum on the call. Look at that. We're big time now.
Yeah, he had nothing to do tonight, apparently.
He had absolutely nothing to do tonight.
he accidentally clicked the link. That's what happened.
He's trying to get out of it now. We froze his browser. You have to stay now, Chris. That's it. Helped the client out with a large MDI deployment. I didn't realize certain customers still have these many domain controllers. So the way it was sort of set up, we ended up having to deploy it in 3 different manners. Partially Intune hybrid managed, partially SECM because they couldn't be co-managed, and partially GPO. So it was a little bit hard because the company does a lot of mergers and acquisitions. So that the tool set wasn't ubiquitous across all of them. But we got it running. Found some domain controls that were unhealthy. So if you're not familiar with MDI, you need to run the capacity planner to check the domain controller for health to do its job for authenticating, not packet overrun. And you have to run it for 24 hours. So this customer uses a lot of certificate servers also. So we deployed it for that reason, to look at that, as well as they're deprecating ADFS, but that's it. Labbing up.
That's a big week coming back off of being away. And by the way, we talked about that last week. We need to have a show, or you and I need to just sit down, do a little interview thing about the organization that you run. So.
Yeah, we can definitely do that.
Yeah, we'll do that here shortly. We do have guests, and I see them in the green room.
Eating up all the snacks. I think so. I don't know if they're ready. I'm waiting for that. Okay, there we go. I think we're good now. All right, here we go. So I want to welcome our guests. They can introduce themselves, obviously, because I'll do a poor job of doing that. However, back to what I talked about originally when we kicked off the show, kudos to Andrea for suggesting that we actually do something or talk about Cybersecurity Awareness Month. I think we wanted to do that. I don't know about everyone else, but I thought it seemed like maybe something we could celebrate at the beginning of the month. But then I was talking to our guests, like, no, end of the month is perfect because we have to talk about all the things, all the ways that we've celebrated so far. So I thought, yeah, that actually does fit. So turn it over to our guests to introduce themselves. I don't know who wants to draw the shortest straw, but who wants to go first?
Since I'm the shortest person, I'll go first.
Oh.
My name is Tina Romeo, and I'm Director of Cybersecurity Thought Leadership, and Natalia Borges.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for having us. This is so exciting. Yeah, I work with Tina in our security thought leadership team, most specifically, and that's the reason why we're here today, working with cybersecurity awareness and education. So thank you for having us.
Can I get my
Oh,
shirt?
yeah, welcome.
I pull this side up, it goes to that side of the thing, right? Not used to putting adult clothes on in these days. So, well, welcome to the show.
At least you didn't have your footed pajamas. I appreciate that.
Yeah, we thank you for that too.
Yeah.
They're gonna fit right in here. They can host the show right away, right now. I'll drop. Yes.
Some of the swag that we've been giving you guys, including socks and blankets.
Really? I've
Yeah.
not got a security blanket or comfy socks. I'll take
There you
some.
go. Security blanket, right?
I don't have a
Security blanket.
I don't have a security blanket. I want a
Oh
security
no, you started something. All right.
So it is Cybersecurity Awareness Month, or the tail end of it, which is every October. Once again, big shout out to our co-host Andrea, who couldn't be here because she's actually traveling for work. That we should get someone on the show to talk about it, and you two graciously accepted. Who invited Rod? Rod, you were the invitee, right?
It's probably me. Yeah.
Oh.
I it's just random. I send random notes to people every once in a while. I'm like, hey, they look kind of neat. So
We had to check you out to see if you were legitimate or if you were a
Yeah, I
phishing
figured.
email. Yeah.
I figured.
I stalked Rod a little bit because I wanted him to help us amplify our amazing cybersecurity awareness content. So that's how we connected.
There you go.
There you go. So, Tina, you gave your title, the organization.
Yep.
What exactly is it, and what do you do there outside the title, the color to it?
Yeah, so it's really about raising awareness of what cybersecurity is,
Mhm.
and also, driving home the fact that Microsoft has a cybersecurity organization, business, as well as the fact that we ensure that the security is built from the start with everything that we do and everything we create. And so really the role is, talking about what we have around threat intelligence. We have over 10,000 security experts. A lot of folks don't know that. The fact that we have depth and breadth in threat intel, where we can talk about nation states. We have folks that are really into and understand the intricacies of the different nations and the cultures and the languages.
Security dog.
As you can see, that's
There's Prada. Okay.
there's Prada. As you can see, she's one of a very good threat hunter, actually. And we also have folks that we have a digital crimes unit that looks after all of the cyber, what's going on with the cyber crime out there. And so, we look into, of course, security and AI, talk about cybersecurity and awareness and education, ensuring that we can minimize the skills shortage gap with a lot of great programs that Natalia is going to talk about later on. And we just have so much to share with everyone on the great work that Microsoft is doing around security. Sometimes I think we forget because we're so busy trying to protect all of our customers.
Yeah, and maybe we'll talk about it a little bit later too, kind of not just the skills gap, but also kind of a diversity gap, particularly in cybersecurity. That's something I think we've talked about here quite a bit backstage, but also annually during March, we have cybersecurity, Women in Cybersecurity Month. This past year we had Basu and Ann Johnson, Maria Thompson and folks on. So that was a really great month to try to expose that. So I'm absolutely happy you all are on. We're not doing it just in March. So this is great that we're, finding other times to actually accomplish this throughout the year as well.
So Tina, when you gave your rundown, I think I may have counted or met you at a B-Sides a while ago. And I was like, I think I knew I met her at B-Sides. It was a conference. But if not, still a pleasure to meet you for the first time. Natalia, different story, same thing. What about you?
Yeah, so I would say that I'm the double click in everything that Tina said when we talk about security, cybersecurity awareness, cybersecurity education, and we're starting to move a little bit about securing AI. So there's a lot that we've been talking about. Responsible AI. Microsoft has been super active in trying to make sure that the world sees AI as something that we need to be responsible about. So we are also doing kind of a double click on like, okay, given responsible AI, what is securing AI in a responsible way? So that's most likely me. I've been in Microsoft for almost 3 years now, all the time with Tina. So we've been building some great stuff, and it's very interesting to see how over the past 3 years, the conversation about the cybersecurity skills gap and cybersecurity awareness has been evolving. So, for example, right now is the 20th anniversary of Cybersecurity Awareness Month, and one of the coolest things about being the 20th anniversary is that we actually been growing in the way that the industry talks about cybersecurity awareness and cybersecurity education. So, I think up until a while ago, the face of a cybersecurity professional was something very limited. And part of our work here is not only trying to make sure that people know how to behave safe, how not to click in that weird link, how not to open a weird document, it's also to make sure that everybody can see themselves in cybersecurity. If there is a skills gap, that right now, I think we actually have that in our hero blog that people can find the link that was just shared. But there are 3.5 million unfilled cybersecurity roles. And how are we going to do it? How are we going to find people to fill those roles? Is not by finding that old face of a cybersecurity professional that a lot of people have in mind. It's finding diversity, is making sure that more people think they can be welcome into the industry. So that's the broad aspect of what we're trying to do in thought leadership and cybersecurity awareness in education.
You know something that I've noticed, because we've talked about this skills gap for a while now, and great to highlight. I see what has been done from Microsoft for trying to portray this cybersecurity skills gap and trying to promote it quite a bit as almost like the model for everything else that we do, because it's so good, right? Because I noticed this week, and it was the first thing I thought of. We've talked about this cybersecurity skills gap for months, and now that same model is being applied to Azure OpenAI. So it is, yeah, people are using it for the AI stuff now, right? So that's why, I think this is so good that it's like the model for everything that we can do from here on out.
Yeah, Natalia made a comment that seems to be an oxymoron of a sort, at least at this current time. Responsible AI. I mean, even regulated technologies tend to find someone who can find an irresponsible way to use it. Is it possible? Do you guys think that it's so available that and unregulated of a sort? Will AI ever have a prominent, responsible user base outside the big companies? Because there's so much potential to do bad. How do we make it responsible? Because to me, it sounds like the same rock you push up the hill to make your users more cognizant of not to click on things and not to do this and not to do that. We've been battling that for a while. So are you optimistic about some type of regulatory globally? You can't trust a company to do it. You can't trust a nation state or a nation to do it singularly. Do you think we can get a global consortium?
So I'm gonna can I start with the education piece, with the reason why, with like kind of the cybersecurity awareness piece, and then maybe Tina can double click on the more the AI transformation. I think one thing that we've been discussing a lot, especially when the theme is education and workforce in terms of security, in terms of AI, and I think that's important to talk about from a responsibility perspective, because it's responsibility with the workforce, or responsibility with the security professionals, is that we see that AI has the power to upscale business, of course, but it has a very interesting potential to upscale human capabilities and and enhance the work of the professionals that we see today. So we been hearing a lot about kind of fears about how when we deploy AI, when we spread AI in our solutions, in our companies, what that's going to mean for the workforce. We think that has the potential to be wonderful, honestly. Security Copilot, for example, is here to help security professionals to actually achieve more. And I think we can use AI to so much in terms of bringing more diversity, welcoming people who are not that technical into what up until recently were very technical roles. We can use AI to improve recruiting processes and creating job descriptions in a more inclusive way. So I think from a workforce perspective, there is a lot that we can use on a positive way in terms of AI. But I would love to hear from Tina as well.
Thank you for that. Yeah, Eddie, I think it's like anything, right? Even cloud users moving into the cloud. This is another movement, right? Where we're moving into AI as an era. Next will be quantum and all of that kind of goodness. And so, when we think about it, we have frameworks, we have principles of responsible AI that Microsoft has created. We ensure, and all of our engineers are building and adhering to those principles of secure AI and of responsible AI. At the same point, we're also making sure that, it's human led. So with generative AI, it's human led. And so you can't take that element of human out because that's super important. However, just like we have different frameworks, we have the NIST framework, we have all of those going on. I think it's safe to say that there'll be frameworks to help provide that guidance and that direction to make sure that things don't get out of hand. We haven't even addressed the fact of, all of the threat actors and what they can do to leverage AI and the capabilities of AI as well. And that's going to be another topic that we would love to come in and talk about even more so because it's timely. Generative AI it's a different thing compared to AI. And so we have some great folks that also can come and talk about that even in more depth of technology. But suffice to say, we do have the principles, we have the frameworks that we're adhering to, especially from an engineering standpoint, just like we did with the cloud adoption framework and the cloud frameworks that we have in moving forward in the cloud. So it's all part of what we do internally, and then share that with all of the different, with the community at large, as well as with government and different sectors.
Well, so I see your group just envisioning it in my mind as one of those groups that kind of have purview over all these things, because you are thought leadership. You are helping drive our leadership in the space. And I think very good, your group is probably a very good example of what we're trying to accomplish from responsible AI, and let's just call it responsible security, because it is kind of the same thing, right? We don't call it that, but it is. And particularly for the Cybersecurity Awareness Month, this is a great effort to help, kind of bring all that back into perspective. Because, that's why I kind of alluded to earlier how, this is kind of being used as the model for the AI skilling. It all really does kind of play together, because I view it as responsible AI and securing AI as literally the same thing. It's safe AI. We're trying to make this whole thing safe for everyone, right? And that's, I don't know how you feel about that, but
yeah, security is a pillar or a component of responsible AI, and so it's so important. I mean, it's woven into everything that we do, and we're expected by our customers to ensure they're safe with everything that they do and everything that they use. Our mission is to secure the world and keep it safe. So that's why we do the programs that we do around thought leadership around Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And quite frankly, it's not just 1 month.
Oh yeah,
it doesn't stop after this. We want everyone to be cyber defenders. We want everyone to be aware of the potential threats out there. Right down to even my son, who's a younger little guy. I want him to know when he's going on gamers and playing games like, well, Minecraft, Roblox, and whatnot, that, not everybody says who they are or is who they are. And so you got to be careful with, family members as well. They got to know.
And awareness is really kind of like just a reminder, right? You say we're trying to accomplish this all year long. It's not like we want to take a break. It's not like we're only aware of it this one. It's like people that go to church. They go to church every Sunday to be reminded of what church is, right? And cybersecurity is the same way. We don't want to forget between the periods of time we're trying to remind everyone. And I think the awareness is super important for that. So people just don't get, tired of it or, forget about it or whatever.
Absolutely. And we look at it as security for all. Like, everyone needs to be safe out there. Everyone has email. Everyone goes online and does social media. I mean, everyone, there's an opportunity for a threat actor, for everyone to steal an identity or whatnot. The way things have changed in the landscape, especially with hybrid work, right? We have our work and home. Life has kind of merged and come together.
I don't think those are separate. Sorry.
They've come together. I mean, like, you could go on social media right now. You could use your mobile device and you can access work and you can access, social media and whatnot. And, the threat actors see that, right? And they know that there's potential there and there's opportunity. And so what we're learning and what we're seeing in the threat landscape is the fact that they're coming after your passwords, your identities, and they're coming in through the consumer side, not necessarily coming in through your enterprise accounts. Because, Microsoft secures your enterprise, right? We secure Office, M365. We secure that from phishing. However, they're going through other ways. And that's part of the Cybersecurity Awareness Month. And the message is we've created a cybersecurity awareness kit that goes into detail of how not to fall for, how not to get hooked by phishing or how not to fall for those scams out there. I mean,
is the kit at that link?
Yes, it is.
Oh, cool. Let me share that again while you're talking. Go ahead. Sorry.
Thank you.
No worries. No. And Natalia, you can probably talk to a lot of the great content that your team has put together just around, and this is to help not only CISOs and security professionals, because we know that they're slammed, right? There's a skills shortage. There's only so much time they have to educate their own organization. Like, don't click on this email. These are the things that you need to identify. They don't have the amazing training that we have with Brett Arsenault and his team, where, we have all of those different shows that, educate you on what to not do and what to do. So this cybersecurity site is incredible because it gives you a lot of guidance. And Natalia, you can talk to a lot about what you put on this site, because certainly it applies to almost everyone.
Yeah, and I think one very nice thing, and I've seen other episodes of this podcast, and I know you guys welcome people from all over Microsoft, and this is a cross Microsoft effort. This is not a Microsoft Security Thought Leadership team effort. You're gonna find things here that are from like all across Microsoft, because this is cybersecurity awareness is not only a Microsoft security products thing, is not only a philanthropy thing, is important for everyone. And what we do is, yes, we want to celebrate cybersecurity awareness all year round, but we use October as exactly like you said, bro, like the moment, like with that splash of awareness, so that people can actually know that, for example, they can find the resources here, they can reach out to certain organizations if they want to volunteer, if they want to get more skilled. So this is, we see October as this splash moment for everything that we do. But yes, cybersecurity awareness is something that we need to do year round.
You know what I love about this, what we've got on the screen. For those that are just listening, you want to go back and look at this, watch the video replay. It's not just for security professionals. It's also for small, medium business, which, to be honest, what I do in my role is we try to talk about the best practices for small, medium business, those people that are almost like accidental security people, right? It's just part of their job. They're not security people. It's just they're required to do that as part of their job. So that's awesome. Also, we had Maria on
Yes.
several episodes back talking about the Minecraft piece, so that's out there too.
Yeah, one of our slogans is everyone has a role to play in cybersecurity. Like anyone can be a cyber defender. And what does it mean to be a cyber defender? It can mean from the security professional who goes in the first link and find the B-Cyber's market that Tina mentioned, where we have infographics with security best practices in a very easy way to understand. Or you can be Tina's son who is playing Minecraft education for cybersecurity. Or you can be my mom who wants to know how to set up the privacy settings of her Microsoft Edge. So
You need to teach your mom how to play Minecraft.
yeah, well, I tried when they were testing the game, and I'm gonna say I didn't do well. But I'll try again. But yeah, that's exactly what we have in the website. Of course, if you go to like the hero asset is gonna be, we want to talk to our customers. We want to help our customers educate their organizations. One of the big things about the skills gap is that security professionals, they are overloaded with defending their organizations and having to educate everybody else. So what we did by creating this kit is finding an easy way for them to educate everybody else. And then if you go down in the page, you're going to find resources from, exactly as you said, small businesses, because they don't necessarily have the same resources as enterprise customers. And you're going to find resources for students to get into their skilling pathways, NGOs that they can get involved with if they feel like getting involved in some specific group, or volunteering opportunities if you're a cybersecurity professional and you actually want to make a difference in one of those programs.
You said it should be an awareness year round, which it sounds great, not highly practical, because you do something consistently, you tend to numb people out. Overall, when you just look at the base of individuals you work with, do you believe that the cybersecurity IQ of our users as a whole, regardless of what product, has gotten better? Because it seems that it shifts, it ebbs and flows. You're having corporations who are having lapses as the people who are meant to secure us. But let's talk about the average consumer of technology. Our moms, our grandmas, those who it's ingrained in us, right? I have a philosophy: if I didn't ask for it, it's a hack, right? If I'm not expecting it, even if I ordered an Amazon package and they send check this, I just don't do it. I go to the website and look myself. So
Yeah.
what do you think the security IQ of the consumers, are they getting better, or are they getting numb to it, or are they just giving up hope?
That's a great question. And I think, some of them, they are getting better, but I'll tell you, the threat actors are getting better too. And what we're noticing is they're getting more sophisticated. And we have a talk, actually a panel discussion that's coming up at Ignite on social engineering and fraud. Shara DeGripo, one of our directors of threat intel, is going to be leading that with some other external folks, and talking about what psychology these threat actors are using around finding ways to attract, folks to click on links. You're right. You do get those Amazon text messages. You get them in your email, and you may not have ordered anything from Amazon. So they know what your behaviors are like. They study that. They are very in tune to it. And in addition to that, Sherry was mentioning, they know that you're going to click on a link even around like divorce papers or something like this, because you're just curious. Even though you're not even married, even though you're single, you're still going to want to know who's getting divorced. And so there's a lot of things that they're doing from a psychological perspective to go after the average consumer.
Mhm.
And so, and there's different tactics that they're using, of course. And so we know that, for phishing, folks still click. Even organizations, even, corporations and enterprises, they still have folks that click on a phishing email and a link. We partner with Terra Nova. They do a Gone Phishing campaign every year where they go out there and they test different organizations to see whether or not they fall for the fish. This year, we don't know what the results are because they're still doing the campaign and the testing. But suffice to say, pretty much even larger organizations fall for it. Not just small business, not your average consumer. Even in larger organizations, we still look.
That's a good point. I would think, given the proper tools, the smaller the company, the more robust they would be, because that's a flatter landscape to educate. You don't have the tons and tons of people resources that have to be educated and cycle that through vacation, parent leave and all these other things. And there are hot months. When I used to do my, red teaming, I was social engineering guy, right?
Yeah.
Everything from dressing up like the UPS man to repair person, whatever.
I could see that.
Yeah.
See that too.
So, what do we do? There are four hot, social engineering time points in a year for me, or fish engineering. Tax time,
Tax time, yeah.
November. Why November?
Christmas is coming.
That's one. I was going to say that for December, but that's one of them. November is generally when most large organizations you sign up for your benefits again.
Yeah.
Point.
Good one. Yeah.
You need to update your vision and all these other things. And Christmas is the hot one.
Yeah.
Everybody is thinking that ungrateful son of theirs is going to send them a gift card. Sorry.
Have you ever considered like a cybersecurity shame month? That'd be a good approach.
But I wanted to go back to something that Tina said, and I like both her input and Natalia's. You're saying that the attackers are getting more sophisticated, and that's true of a sort, but a lot of it's automatic, and there's a lot of smart script kiddies, because they're buying the exploits from the smart people, rebranding them to do it. But my question would be this: is it the motivation? Because unless it's an emotional state acted endeavor or something like that, the motivation for bad guys is money. How do we motivate our users to be safe? We don't. Nobody's ever paid me for not getting hacked, right? So how do we recognize good cybersecurity hygiene and behavior? And someone said in the chat, gamify. Yeah, that's true, but reward drives behavior and or compensation. How do we reward good habits?
I have some bad ideas around that one.
Yeah. And I know, and Rod, it doesn't mean keep your job. I know where you're going.
Yeah. Or keep access to the internet. Or I was thinking even have like one of those signs like at factories, we've been 30 days clear, and then offer Amazon gift certificates at the end or something.
And I've seen that where
if
a certain amount of individuals report the fish with details, and one company was giving away gift cards, a Yeti, seems mundane, but a big size Yeti cooler is a couple of $100-$300, right? And things along that line. But I want to hear the experts. What throw it against the wall could you use to do that? And whomever wants to go first.
I think there's one thing that, thinking out loud, I think there's one thing here that we do, for example, in Microsoft, is making sure that people care, right? So as you said, like it's hard to make. How do you make people care? Like what's in it for them? So I think so. There's one of the most important pieces of information in terms of security that Microsoft puts out in the world is the Microsoft Digital Defense Report, right? That just came out a few weeks ago, and we use all our expertise or all the 65 trillion daily signals, if I'm correct, right, Tina?
It keeps going up, but yeah.
It keeps going up, yeah. More than 10,000 professionals to try to make the world understand like how far those cyber attacks can be. I do think there is a showing how nation state attacks work, showing the amount of depth and impact that clicking on the phishing link and not putting MFA, multi-factor authentication in your things, can do, the amount of money that's involved. So I do think that those types of things help people to understand how serious the problem is. But I also think that we're still in a stage where we just got the companies to recognize cybersecurity as a must-have investment. So I think part of our job over the past few years has been to make sure that the C-levels of companies understand the importance of making everyone in their organizations behave safely, and that's why moments like Cybersecurity Awareness Month are so important, because we're giving them things to send to the world to make sure that those people care. But there's still a long way to go in terms of the regular population to actually care about not being hacked and everything. I think that honestly all goes to the point of how can we move people to care about the impact the hackers do, the impact that a nation state actor can have in hospitals, for example. With some of the reports that were put out in a Security Insider, that's on one of our other the information websites. I can send the link later. But some of the reports were actually about how this threat actors impacted frontline workers, like impacted the directly impact the lives of people, because they went out to hospitals, they went out to when we had the war in Ukraine and they were trying to get the infrastructure down. So I think that's a way, but we still have a long way to go. I don't know about Tina.
Well, and I'll send it over to Tina, but doing nothing is not good either, I think.
Yeah, no,
right?
it's not.
So, yeah.
No. And that's the alternative is, yeah, you can reward good behavior, but you're also rewarded by the fact that you don't have a cyber criminal or a threat actor accessing your personal data, personal information, and then laterally moving into your organization and accessing your corporate data and corporate information. I mean, that's the alternative. And of course, that's more of a fear thing. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure that your data is protected and your identity is protected. And so what we try to do is encourage folks to go passwordless, to use multi-factor authentication. We always say hackers don't break in, they sign in. That's Brett Arsenault, our CISO's favorite line. It's so true, right? They look, I'm going to say, I'll use my family as an example. I see them always playing those games of, if you were a song, what would you be? Or, what kind of vegetable are you? And it's like, do you not know that the threat actors, they have cyber crime as a service. There's ways that they're trying to get your identity. Not that you may be important to them, but they can find out your identity to find out my identity, to find out, and to log in and sign in to Tina's Microsoft account. Like, that's how they move. They have multiple organizations that all work together. It's a service. You're right. It's a business. They make money off of selling lists and personal data and passwords. And so they're going to get as much information as they can. And so it's our role or our job to let everyone know, don't do that. Don't play those kind of games, and don't give away your information, your personal information. I mean, I'm being very paranoid. I'm not going to show you my home, where I live and what I do. And because that's what they're looking for, even when they're looking at these videos right now. I mean, call me paranoid, but it's true. And so we also educate our customers and everyone to use multi-factor authentication. It may be a pain to have to use two different authentication or factors of authentication, but at the end, we know that it's 99.9% reliable. It'll make sure that, your accounts are stronger.
Yeah.
And so
I'm sorry, but I'm sorry.
No, it's just really about education, because if you don't educate them, and doing nothing is not an option. If you don't educate, then there's the other side of it, which is, yes, you're going to lose your data. You might lose control of your computer or your accounts. That's not fun. You might lose money financially. That's not fun. Might have someone signing on to your Amazon account and spending lots of money. Like, that's the alternative. Now, we don't want to create that much fear, but doing nothing is no option.
Yeah, and what's fun? What's interesting? Phishing is one of the things that we know best, right? And with AI, phishing is going to become each time easier to believe in. And we are one of the leaders in AI currently, and hopefully we're going to keep leading this wonderful in the industry. But the thing is, because of that, we do have doing nothing is not an option, and we have a responsibility to keep our the way we pass that information forward as fast as the attacks are evolving. I can definitely see phishing becoming something exceptionally easy to believe in, and I feel like we have the capabilities and the resources and the experts to give away, to pass on that information. So I think we do have a responsibility in terms of helping people be prepared.
You made an interesting comment about, having individuals care. It sounds like this education has an emotional component, because combining the remarks from both you and Tina, it looks as though you have to make the person care more about the impact of their inaction or bad action. If they think it only is going to affect them, they've never been part of a small company that got ransomware, and now you don't get a paycheck, right? And now you have to lay people off. The production lines don't work. So, I asked a question about, rewarding good behavior. I think, someone made a joke here, reduce bonuses for every link click. We as a species understand pain. Pain makes you not repeat stuff, right? And I think a lot of individuals believe that dodging a bullet is the same thing as being bulletproof. They're not mutually inclusive, right? There has to be a reward, and it also has to be something a little bit more substantial than a slap on the hand for those, especially when there's been adequate tools, education, and you need to make individuals understand, hey, this impacts you, not just you, but everything, right? And there seems to be a lack of corporate empathy toward what would happen if they don't do right. The first thing that any company does, we'll offer you identity and credit protection. That's useless. It's worthless, because they hacked my existing credit. You're preventing them from getting anything new. And so I don't think there's a simple answer to it, but I do believe if you could solve one piece of it, which is getting individuals to care, not teach them, but help them understand, hey, this could be better, and a little bit of pain. If you do this, here's 10 hours of mandatory training. They won't do it again. But have some leeway, because the attacks are becoming complex and very believable. The inherent way that we communicate is flawed. We're still hacking people through email.
Yeah.
I don't get that, right?
Well, it is emotional, so there's that aspect, right? You have to get people to care, but in the same respect, I see some people that it's kind of a fear thing. We have to somehow get across to people it's okay to screw up. Talking about AI, how phishing is going to be so much better, which is a bad way to put it, I guess, but it's going to be so much destructive too. It's okay to screw up. These things are intended to mess with us, right? So everybody screws up. I have in back of my mind, because Natalia was talking about her mom, my mom, right? She'll go for months being hacked and her accounts being hacked because she's afraid to tell me that, she did something silly that I said don't do last time. It's probably my fault, because maybe, I was a little frustrated. Don't do that ever again, but
My best friend, same thing. Been my friend for 25 plus years, runs his own barbecue place, huge place where he stores his product, meats and everything, and fell for a hack with a threat from the power company that his automatic payments weren't working and they were going to shut off his power. To him, they introduce a fear of all my stuff is going to spoil. And he fell for it and went and got 2 gift cards and read the number off the back. And then he called me and said they had done all this. And my first reaction was to go, but because I like, dude, this is Ed. I'm your best friend. You could have asked me. But I made sure that if I had done that, I would have shamed them into not saying anything going forward, right? Instead of coming to me as a resource. So I get it. It's a delicate line, but everybody has responsibility. And it seems to me, that the least responsible are corporate entities. That's it. That's all they get.
But that's, I think people need to know what the risk is for sure. Yeah. But that's why October, I think, is so important in cybersecurity awareness in general, because there is a need to move the spectrum of cybersecurity and the fame from something dark and fear field to something, hey, look what all of this can do for you, Mm-hmm. So I think it's we're right now handling the balance between showing people the risks and what, like, don't do that, and that's how kind of what we do with the Cyber Market. But at the same time, inspiring folks who are using those assets, who are thinking about a skilling process, to think like, but look how much goodness can come out of it, like especially when we talk about education and bringing more people and diverse groups and then the underrepresented minorities to the workforce, to the cybersecurity workforce. It's very important to try to move away from that dark place of how we think about a security professional. No, they have like headphones and it's all like in a dark room and typing all the time and coding. Like, that's not what cybersecurity is anymore. That's not. We have research that tells us that 50%, right, currently of the people who join the workforce are not from technical backgrounds. Mm-hmm. We hear from security leaders that say how they actually don't necessarily need the technical things that much anymore. They need security professionals that are able to expand their soft skills. So I think for that, it's very important to deal with cybersecurity and the way we spread it out. And of course, explaining how risky something can be and what are some best practices, but at the same time showing how bright it can be.
Yeah.
So maybe it's a piece of this is also some of these people from the emotional aspect. And you talked about, you don't hire all technical people to fill those job roles. Maybe they just expect, hey, we have a security team that takes care of this for me. Right? I'm not going to learn this because they're going to do it for me.
I heard someone verbally say that, not just keep it in their head. That's what you guys are for. We pay you money to protect us.
Yeah.
I think something else. You made a point, Natalia, about the perception of the hacker as a teenage pimple face or the evil guy like iRobot that sits down in the cellar, right? But there's another evil that the end users are afraid of. And 4 of them are sitting on this call right now because they put people like us who are very smart and very skilled and up in security on this unrelatable pedestal, right? And we're not close. It just seems like directives are coming down. Do this. One of the most successful security programs I've seen was a company, instead of having the security person be the direct contact for training, they chose a representative from each department. They found a technical person from each department to represent that, to disseminate it to the masses. And it was someone that the people knew. They worked with them. And so, and that was a good thing, right? We went in, we helped design it out and wrote a security program for them and found representatives. And so there were always committees for everything else from the company picnic, but there are no representatives to be a roundtable for security. And that company, knock on wood, have a highly successful security program. And no incidents, numerous attacks, right? But they built a culture that the person said, this doesn't look right. And they could pick up and the phone is the most powerful thing, right? Pick up the phone and call somebody. Hey, is this you? It looks like you, but it doesn't, the mannerisms, right? So more education can still outwit AI in the foreseeable future if people will have more interaction, right? Is you can say everything that I say, but I talk in a certain way, right? In my bad jokes. And like if Rod Trent tells a funny joke. I know that's not Rod. That has to be AI.
Yeah, sure
absolutely.
is. Yeah, because none of my jokes are funny.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
Copilot in action for you. Yeah, I hear
Mhm.
you. I really agree with the champions because that
Yeah.
makes it relatable, makes it more, human rather than looking at the videos. Although I have to say, some of our internal training videos that Brett does are
Oh
incredible.
yeah.
I mean, they're
Yeah.
they're
I love
innovative,
those.
they're
So
engaging,
fun.
they're funny, and that's the one thing that we also have learned is that to educate organizations internally, you have to make it more engaging. You'll find with the Be Cyber Smart Kit, a lot of the infographics are very simplistic, very engaging, easy to understand, easy to use. So when you go on the cybersecurity awareness site, you can digest it pretty easy. It's meant to go out to all organizations. And the reason why is because, like we have already discussed, there's a skills shortage gap. A lot of the cyber security professionals don't have the time to create all these lovely things and send it out to their users and to train them. They don't have time. And we're very fortunate because we have all of the luxury of all these training videos and all of the content here. But our customers and our other organizations, small businesses, they don't have the luxury like we do. And so that's why we're bringing that to them. Last year, we actually sent out to our customers the our training videos that Brett Arsenault does because they're so well received. I mean, they're one of the best training videos in all of Microsoft, actually. So, you have to make it fun. You have to make it engaging. You have to make it enjoyable, like anything, even in sports. You have to make it engaging. You have to make it fun. You have to create that passion or that want to learning. So easy to relate to some of the comments in the chat, which is very nice. Of a lot of folks and their families, and they all fall for the different scams, and the scams are very popular right now because of that cyber crime as a service. Um, it's more popular because there's so much money to make in it, and these different organizations, one looks after getting the names and the identities and the passwords, and then they send out the mailing list to another person that will do the phishing or the scams. And so it's like this complete network of different organizations working together and making money off of each other, selling lists, doing
Yeah.
this. So it's a huge industry. And so they take for they're able to just build off of all of the vulnerabilities that we have, and it is emotional. It is all about psychology.
And can I double click on one challenge that you brought, Eddie? I agree 100% that we need to make it relatable, and we will not help close the skills gap if we don't diversify the workforce. And what does that mean? That means that people who are in an organization, for example, even if they see people from different areas, they need to think that they see people that they connect to. So, for example, if all of the people who send who explain cybersecurity, even if they are the teams, they're men, like women are gonna think, okay, like I don't connect with it. It doesn't make sense for me. There is a very big problem with some like a bunch of women not wanting to get into the industry because they have the conception that it might be too complex, and there's no too complex things in terms of gender. So I think a double click on that challenge is actually yes, bringing people from all over the company, but also like making sure that you are exemplifying people from all different backgrounds, from all different groups, because that's how people relate as well.
Yeah, so like those trust agents, right? Talking about those cybersecurity champs, they need to look like all of us.
Yes.
Otherwise, they're not going to be trust agents.
Yeah, absolutely. And the message has to be delivered with compassion and a sense of, I'm not telling you what to do. I'm asking you to do something for the benefit of us all. And we're on the show, we're very transparent. the world of cyber in the corporate industry is still very white and very male. We talk about it on the show all the time. And that delivery is sometimes delivered as a message of superiority rather than compassion. And so people will tune you out. Like, here come the security guys telling us what to do again. They don't do my job. They're there in the room playing Starlight or Minecraft all day, Starfield. And
Starlight.
they come once a month and yell at us because I clicked on a free Chick-fil-A sandwich link because I was hungry. I like Chick-fil-A sandwiches. The next person, right? And I think diversity not only leads to superior technical skills, but communication skills.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
Communication skills.
Well, and a different approach from everybody. Instead of just one singular approach and mindset, it's it literally captures everything.
Security champions, get representatives within the companies who champion your cause rather than being a security process dictator.
Yeah.
There are three things from that, Edward, that you mentioned. We often say we need to be as diverse as the threats that we're going up against. I mean, you got to think of the nation states, all these cyber criminals. They're not located in one country. They're all over the world. They're making money all over the world globally. And so essentially, they're culturally diverse. They're women. They're different nationalities, of course. And so when you look at it, you need to have that diversity. But also, you mentioned things about communication skills. When you look at the population of women in cybersecurity globally, 34% of women are in cybersecurity. That's very small. And when we did a research study, because we work in conjunction with our SELA partners and philanthropies, we found that, women actually have more of the communication, more of the problem solving, more of the emotional intelligence. No slant against,
No, I can attest to that. That's a fact.
Yeah,
My wife.
I mean, Rod, it's just that's the way from a nurturing and caring. And so when you think about that, that's what we also need in cybersecurity. And so, Edward, you hit it right on the head. Essentially, we need that diversity because that diversity brings out other strengths and the emotional aspect, which we're learning more and more that our threat actors are learning and using those techniques.
And that's, I'm sorry to cut you off. Diversity cannot mean numbers. It can't be that I have this certain percent of women in this or people of color. It has to be that and positions of authority so that you can make the hires. You can break the mold. You can break that chain of if you don't make me comfortable, I'm not going to hire you. You're not good. You don't fit the culture, right?
Yeah.
And a lot of times that means we like doing the things the old way. We don't want you coming in bringing your innovations here, right? And so we don't just need to have people in the field. They need to be in charge in the field.
Absolutely. We had a panel at the National Institute Cybersecurity Education Conference where we had that same discussion. Like, how do you get more diverse folks into the cybersecurity workforce? It all comes down to even how you create your application. What are you putting out there? What are you asking for? Because if you're asking for a certain criteria, are you making that so that diverse populations can apply? Are you just expecting only 4 years of computer science? And how much experience are you looking for? And the way sometimes these application or these job descriptions are written actually excludes a lot of different minority groups. And so we're looking at that and how can we make it more open and more inclusive in even what we are asking for? Because even if you ask like a small business customer or even, a government customer in, state and local government, they don't need someone with a computer science background. They're outsourcing some of their things, right? They don't need someone super technical. What they do need is someone who can manage the outsourcing, right? They need someone who can manage the services, but also be able to communicate within the organization. And so communication skills are essential in that role for that small business or for that state and local government. And so sometimes we're asking for these computer science degrees when we don't really need that in that professional role.
They are deliberately exclusionary documents or requirements a lot of times. Now, there are certain places where the education is warranted, right?
Mhm.
But I believe the city of New York started about 2 years ago that they were using a software application. And now that AI is so prevalent, it probably had to be a precursor to that to screen resumes and applications, no human, and then have them take off the education part of it and see the data that came from that. Right? Look at what this person has done in the past. What are their roles? What projects they've completed? And so it doesn't necessarily remove our biases because biases are built into
Yeah.
the thing, right? But it was an interesting, and they, as far as I know, they're still using that type of approach to help pre-screen and do some screens. I think it has merit, but you still need the human aspect. You still need gut feeling, right?
You do. I know there's some tools coming to help with the bias in the data that's being fed into the different AI. If you want to, let's just call them co-pilots because that's what Microsoft calls them. There's some tools coming that helps eliminate that bias, so that's definitely going to help. But even at that point, I think we still kind of need, even cybersecurity and an AI, we still need humans in the process somewhere. But let's create responsible humans as well as we create these responsible AI, right? So it goes back to that education and skilling and how we accomplish that.
Yeah, I've been doing this 30 plus years. I think that my career has been really good. You know, I am the benefit of people with open minds who've given me a chance a lot of times, right? Because they didn't see the piece of paper. They're like, you like tinkering. I was like, all the time. You know, I got old saying, if it ain't broke, break it. And then we go from there, right? We are being cognizant of time. We have 3 minutes left. We'd like to give the floor to our two guests to have any closing comments.
Yeah, so actually, on a follow up from this part of the discussion, I think that's one of the reasons why it's so important for us to amplify so many of the initiatives that Microsoft and our partners do. So on the website that we shared, people can find a lot of those opportunities, but there is a lot that Microsoft and the entire industry is doing to help bring new people to the industry. So you have women focused organizations such as WISIS and Girl Security, who take care kind of the funnel from the high school moment to the leadership moment to help women grow in careers in cybersecurity. So exactly, as you said, Edward, I called it Eddie because I think we're friends already, but yeah, I think it's 100% true that we need not only to get people in the industry, we need the leaders to change their mindsets. We need the leaders to look like the people who are trying to apply for the jobs. So outlining these opportunities is so important. There's a lot that Microsoft is doing. Sila, this is not only a Microsoft security thing. This is a Sila philanthropist thing. This is a Microsoft Minecraft thing. Of having all those projects to support. So people can find in the website several efforts to support the Last Mile Education Fund. That's a program from the philanthropy team where we're going to give 10,000 scholarships for community college students by 2025. So we're still a long way to go for the 10,000. There's a lot that we want to do. We want people to amplify those things. If you know someone from a community college that's studying cybersecurity and you want them to know about it, amplify that. We have TEALS. That's one of the crown jewel exactly. Thank you for being a part of that. TEALS is one of the crown jewels programs for Microsoft to help schools get educated in in computer science. And now there's also cybersecurity curriculum. So things that people can do: be a volunteer, see if the school right next to your house has a TEALS program. If not, help them apply for it. So there's a lot. They're going to be able to find the website a lot of this great, wonderful opportunities and NGOs that we work with, as well as Microsoft-owned programs. And to be fair, same thing with me. Like I didn't come from a technical background. I'm not a native English speaker. with a lot of these resources, now I feel like I can actually make a difference in the cybersecurity industry. So I think it's very nice to see how far people can go by reaching out to these resources, by seeing themselves in cybersecurity. So over to you, Tina.
I love what you said. Ditto, +1 to what you said, Natalia. Everyone is a cyber defender. Everyone. And so that's the mission that we have, is to make everyone a cyber defender. Collectively, we all need to come together. I know that, there's competitors, and yes, but you know what? Our competitors are those threat actors out there.
Mm-hmm.
We all have to come together to fight off those threat actors, to fight the cybercrime. We all have to come together. You'll see that there was an interesting article where Amazon and ourselves partnered together to fight off one of the scams around support. We all have to come together. It's not us versus any other out there. And even now, as I look at the threat landscape, take a look at the articles on Security Insider. As you look at what's going on out there from a geopolitical standpoint with nation states and what they're doing, it's unprecedented. And so we collectively need to come together to defend and thwart off all of these bad actors. And cybersecurity awareness all year round. Everyone needs to be educated on how to keep those bad guys out and not let them log into your accounts. So thank you for this opportunity.
Thank you so much for having us.
You're always welcome to come back.
This is just the beginning.
Yeah,
Oh, we've got so much more.
You speak some civility about how you went about your business. When I started my career I started from the atypical IT, then transitioned to cyber. There used to be an unspoken rule that you didn't go out to education, you didn't go out to schools and education and healthcare. Schools and hospitals are off limits. All bets are off now.
Oh yeah,
all bets are off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, have to.
Yeah, there's money to be made. Be damn who the victim is at this point. One thing won't fix it, but I do believe the good soldiers are here are part of the solution. And I'd like to say thank you for coming on. We really, really appreciate it. This was a discussion that had much more value than talking pure tech. Really.
Well, and necessary.
Awareness.
Yeah, the awareness is important.
Can I give a call to action to folks that were listening to us?
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
So check out our website. You're going to find a lot of educational things for yourself and for your community, but don't stop there. Like, if you see your website and you don't find that volunteering opportunity or that resource that you wanted, find one that you feel passionate about. I think cybersecurity is a team effort, and all of us can do something to make more people feel welcome, to make more people feel safe. So just don't stop in our website. Just go for it, because there's a lot happening. This is just the beginning.
And listen to the show. Tell somebody else about the show. Well, everyone, to our supporters, listeners, to our guests, thank you for coming on. Super informative. This is not our first discussion around cybersecurity awareness, but our probably most deliberate, where we didn't back into a guest talking about it. We went out and found a guest. And if you want to do this every October or whenever you want to do it, just let us know. I don't think enough awareness can be that. And think of the audience as those champions who can take our message, who are professionals, to go out and take these ideas. Take some of these ideas and go to your customers. There go. We didn't think about that. And thank you to Tina, because I'm definitely going to speak on this when I do my EBC Monday. Hackers don't break in, they sign in. I'll definitely give you credit for this. I put your name.
No, give Brett Arsenault credit. He's the genius behind a lot of those great quotes.
I ain't giving Brett. Brett, come on the show. Thanks, everyone. I would say same time next week, but Rod keeps moving the dates and times. So
I don't know what next week is going to be like, but it'll be interesting. I'll be in Miami. Edward, you'll be here?
I'll be back in town.
Andrea should be here. She might be finished having her birthday party. I don't know.
Well, I'm doing
And then maybe Brody. I'm going to ship him like a modem. I think that would be better than what he has.
Yeah. He needs, modem.
Yeah.
All right, everyone. Sometime next week, it'll be on a Wednesday. We don't know
It
yet.
will.
It'll be on a Wednesday. And
all right.
see you later.
Thank
Have
you.
a good weekend, everyone. Thank you.